Rough seas ahead as the restrictive planet Saturn continues wading through the zodiac sign of the sea, Pisces. In astrology, Saturn creates restrictions and obstacles to force more practical ways of doing things. Saturn first took a dip into the watery realm of Pisces during March of 2023 and will remain there for the most part until February of 2026. That means Saturn's restrictive, practical influence is being applied to Pisces themes, which include music, art, spirituality, hospitals, prisons, humanitarian organizations, and the seas, which is the focus of this video. Practical-minded Saturn doesn't really like passing through the emotionally sensitive waters of Pisces. Besides, Neptune, the ruler of Pisces, has already been on its home turf for the past decade. Saturn and Neptune seem to be at odds, so this transition through Pisces is like an epic battle between the Roman god Saturn and the god of the seas Neptune. The battle stirs up the seas and makes it difficult to ship things, which affects nearly everyone since we currently live in a globalized world with long supply chains that spread across the planet. For instance, iPhones have more than 1,000 parts from suppliers in more than 30 countries, not counting the raw materials needed to make the parts. Cargo ships are by far the cheapest way to send parts and products internationally, so any shipping disruptions affect global supplies and prices. Restrictive Saturn's current passage through Pisces is creating conditions for numerous shipping disruptions. First of all, the lakes and waterways that feed the Panama Canal are experiencing a serious drought, which has dropped the number of ships that can pass through the canal each day from 38 to a measly 24, which is causing delays and increased expenses, especially to U.S. cargo since 40% passes through the Panama Canal. Secondly, the Russian-Ukraine war has caused disruptions in the Black and Azov Seas, causing the suspension of Ukrainian port operations and agricultural exports. Thirdly, the passage through the Suez Canal, the Red Sea, and the Gulf of Aden is a huge shortcut that avoids going all the way around Africa. However, it becomes particularly narrow along the coast of Yemen, where rebel forces decided to launch missiles at passing cargo ships to express their displeasure with the war in Israel. They even managed to sink one in February. Now it is super difficult for those ships to get the required insurance, since they are in fact carrying other people's valuable goods. The world's largest shipping company, Maersk, decided to just avoid the Red Sea area and sail all the way around Africa to get goods from Europe to Asia and vice versa. However, only the largest ships can make the longer, more expensive journey, and they still need to be concerned about pirates along the east and west coast of Africa that are either looting stuff or kidnapping crews for ransom. The idea has come up that countries with a strong navy can provide safe passage for their ships. However, most cargo ships fly under the so-called flags of convenience from countries with less bureaucracy, taxes, and safety laws, such as Liberia, the Marshall Islands, and Panama. In fact, only about 2% of U.S. cargo is shipped by U.S. flagged ships, so protecting your own ships amounts to protecting all the ships. Since Saturn will be passing through Pisces until February of 2026, there is still a heightened possibility for further shipping restrictions, especially in the South and East China Seas, where there are a lot of disputed islands and fishing spots causing tensions between neighbors. Many countries have been able to grow their standard of living with niche skills such as exporting oil, agricultural products, or higher value-added products such as semiconductor chips. This specialized approach is based on the globalization assumption that the seas are open to safely move materials and products anywhere. If this assumption breaks down, countries are forced to reevaluate their security, whether it is food security in a country like Egypt that imports half of its food, or energy security in a country like China, which gets half of its oil from the Middle East, or a company like Apple that needs a more reliable supply chain. Saturn always brings some difficult practical lessons. In this case, countries and companies need to use this time to reevaluate their approach to shipping and logistics. The rough seas will persist until around February of 2026, when Saturn moves out of Pisces. At that time, the seas will become calmer but not completely calm, as Saturn brings its restrictive nature and practical lessons to Aries themes. That's that for this video. See you in the future.